Hey, Um, so I'm here back at the woods. I think this is gonna be my new spot. I love it here. I just feel really calm and relaxed and in tune with everything around me and you guys. So this I received um a very interesting question actually. Um, I'm gonna call you Samantha. And Samantha has sent me a message, and she would like to know um, what happiness is, and if happiness is reality, and if we can actually make happiness become part of our reality. After she asked me the question, she kind of mentioned that she knows a lot of people who claim that they're happy, but internally they are suffering, and it's just a big show that they just put on. And when they go home, they know. Samantha is very intuitive. She mentioned it, and I can actually feel it as well. And she is intuitive, so she picks up a lot about people, but she's kind of curious as to if it really is possible. I would just like to say before we get into the possibilities of happiness, I would just like to say uh, if you can think of something, if you could, if you yearn for something, if you could think of something, that means you can make it a reality. And this place that we call Earth, it carries basically every type of energy, every type of vibration, and every type of frequency that we all possibly can think of. And that goes from like the lowest of the low to the highest of the high. There really is no such thing as you cannot reach the highest level of happiness, and or the lowest of forms of sadness or depression or pain. You can achieve all of it. It's just a matter of fact of how. So the answer to this is yes, it can be reality. Happiness is a form of reality, but the thing is, it depends on every certain person, and it depends on the person's level of experience, awareness of self, what they're willing to take and what they're not willing to take, and allowing, learning our own boundaries, accepting our own negativities, accepting it has to do with ourself. It's got nothing to do with external factors. It's got nothing to do with who you're surrounded by. Some people are like, well, I would be happy if I won $1 million, or I would be happy if I moved out of my house, or I would be happy if I vacationed for 3 months and went to traveled all of Europe. The sad and truthful part of that is you cannot ever find happiness when you believe the grass is greener on the other side. If the grass is greener on the other side, how do you know? You've never been on the other side. If you've never been on the other side, how can you possibly know what really brings you happiness? To be able to be happy, it's a state of mind. When you're happy with who you are, when you can see how truly beautiful your spirit is, uh, how beautiful your physicality is. We have been given this beautiful gift of life here on earth. We have a beautiful physical body. Some people think, oh, if I had bigger boobs, or if I'm sorry, I had to bring that up, or if I was prettier, or if I um, looked like this, or if I was slimmer, I'd be more beautiful, or I'd be more happier with myself. Let me tell you, you could be the most beautiful, attractive woman or man in the face of the world, and to somebody else, even to yourself, you're still unsatisfied. Mainly to yourself, you're still unsatisfied. You're seeking more and more and more and more. So in terms of things like that, if that's how you feel that your friends are, or that certain person that you're speaking about, um, people like that, yes, you know, they're not really happy because they haven't found who they are, and they haven't found something that really satisfies who they are. And that's why I'm totally devoted to spirituality, and I'm totally devoted to who I am and living my truth and living my life purpose. I mean, this is why like I come here and I am creating these like basically they're like homemade videos from my camera because this oneness, this connection that I have with all of you guys, it's fulfilling. Um, and for us to grow and for us to connect and for me to be able to do this and help you out, it for me, it's I know that I'm making a difference. People have said to me, "Oh, well, you're pretty," or "You don't have these issues and you don't have that. How could you possibly know?" Wow. Wow. Yeah. Um Nobody knows really. I'm not one that brags or complains about what goes down in my house. I'm not one that complains about my life or my childhood. But basically I didn't have a childhood. I mean, I when I was 2 or 3 years old, I was happy, but that's about it. Happy in terms of with what was going on with my house and my family and stuff. But after the age about 3 or 4 years old, I didn't have a childhood. My childhood was ripped away from me, and I was um, forced into adult life. And I've been called every disgusting name in the book by everyone I've ever cared about and everyone that I've ever been there for. And for me to let that all go and just step above it and just continue on my path, I mean, it shows that I do not allow certain things to hold me down and prevent me from growing. So that says something about me. And if everybody can just, I mean, okay, the world is not a perfect place in terms of like everybody has to be on the same level. Obviously not, because then we wouldn't be continuing this beautiful um, the earth wouldn't be continuing in that way because we are here to learn and we are here to experience life with each other and grow. Um, so for happiness, when you learn to, I'm not saying that you need to be alone and you kind of need to isolate yourself away from people, but when you learn to kind of listen to your own thoughts, um, listen to your own heart, do what makes you happy, embrace yourself with your own happiness instead of expecting things to be as what society has made us to be or our parents have made us to be. Some people have amazing parents who allow their kids to um, be who they truly are and express who they truly are. And you know what? That's a huge blessing, and I'm so happy to see parents like that because um, that's very great. But not everybody has that, and so we have to face these things on our own, and we have to develop our own forms of happiness. Look, like I mean, I come here to the woods, and this is the most satisfying thing for me. The littlest things. Money can never bring you happiness. I mean, I used to have, I've like worked at basically almost a lot, like a lot of different things. I've from retail, from like food places, restaurants, like a chef, a waitress, retail, um, makeup artistry, hair salons. I used to manage a hair salon. I worked at a medical clinic. I worked at so many different things, sales and all that stuff, which is so unsatisfactory and it goes against everything I believe in. But I had the experience and it taught me to not allow it anymore and to not live my life that way anymore. Um, I'd rather make a few dollars and spiritually be rich rather than make millions of dollars or thousands of dollars and just be spiritually deprived and depressed, because in the long run that'll just make you sick. And I've seen way too many sufferings and illnesses and people who claim that they have found their happiness through money and their lifestyle, and end up being 80 years old or on their deathbed and saying they wish they did it differently. When I was about 14, 14, yeah, about 14 years old, there was a lot of abuse going on in my household, and I needed to get away. So I used to, like, I kept it a secret at the time. I started volunteering at sick hospitals, or for sick, for disabled people. And I used to feed this one man. He got into a car accident, and from his neck downward, he became paralyzed, and his wife left him. And he would see his kids only like once every um, couple months or something. So I would go over there, and I always felt like that was somewhere that I needed to be, because I always felt like I could learn from that. So I was never a 14-year-old who wanted to party and drink and do this and do that. Like, at that age, at a young age, I always knew. I was always seeking fulfillment spiritually and like helping people out, because it makes me feel great that I'm making a difference, and it teaches me something in return. Um and the things he would tell me, and I didn't need to feed him, because there were actual nurses that would get paid to feed them, but he would ask me to feed him because he felt more comforted by my presence and by me listening, and he knew, and he would tell me that he can feel that I actually care. And you know what? I couldn't say no, and I would actually go and I would feed him, and the nurses knew. And you know what? They, at first they were kind of like, please don't do it, and then they're like, you know what, go ahead, because he's really happy with you and stuff. So, and for me, that's what would make me happy. And you're probably like, wow, really? And the answer is, yeah, really. So again, happiness means it's going to be different for everyone until you truly learn what really does make you happy. I've been in the position of, like, I used to have a friend, and she, in high school, and she was like, I don't know, I don't understand why you are like an adult at this age. She's like, you should be, you're going to be wasting your teenage life. You need to go out Friday, Saturday nights. Let's go to clubs. Let's go to do this and do that. And I mean, eventually I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll go. Just because I felt like at the time that maybe I wasn't living that life, even though that wasn't something that I wanted. But I said, whatever, I'll give it a go a few times. And I was so unhappy. I was truly so unhappy going to clubs, drinking with a bunch of people rubbing up against each other. Um, it's just irrelevant to me. Like, it's just, again, I've been called every disgusting name in the book, because that's what people have always perceived. If they can't make sense of something, they automatically come to a judgment about you. And those are the type of people that you shouldn't even have in your life. Nor should you, nor should you even care, really. Um, as I always like to say, what you think about me is none of my business. you know? And once you start living your truth, and once you start accepting who you are and knowing what makes you happy, and not allowing for all that crap that you don't want in your life to not enter anymore, people in your life who live according to your truth and your virtues start entering. So basically, everybody who's in my life right now is here because I allow them to be here. They are here because I accept myself as who I am. I am happy with who I am. Um, we still have some issues going on. We're always gonna have some issues going on, not with each other, but I mean like at home or like when it comes to anything, you know. Um, but when you're happy with who you are, and when you're happy with your own self and what and how to go about that, um, you really don't care what happens, because at the end of the day, it can't get to you anymore. It can't upset you anymore. And it's just like, whatever, it pisses me off. There's no need to allow it to piss me off, because it's just a passing moment. Just like everything. Everything is a passing moment. Why should you let that deprive you? Why should you let that make you sick? Just laugh. Laugh it off. Um, I've been in situations where I start bursting out because where it's been like really depressing, and then people are like, the people that don't understand, anyways, unspiritual people or unaware people, they're like, "Are you laughing at me?" I'm not laughing at you. I just have to laugh because I'm gonna get sick. So, I really encourage you to, find your truth. I know you are intuitive. You didn't really mention to me what you do, or like what kind of things you're into, but you don't even have to. You know what you're into, and if you don't, find out what your hobbies are. Um, do what you really love to do. It could be anything, anything in the book, anything at all. Like, it could be from the smallest thing. It could be from like the funniest thing that you think is not even a hobby, but really, and it depends on your experience with it and how you feel about it and what you want to do with it. You can always start off as just doing it as a hobby, and then you never know. Nowadays, it's very anything can turn into a career with the internet and whatever. Connecting with each other, networking is very important. You can do that, and you connect with people, such as what you're doing with me right now, and even if it's 5 minutes of laughing and um, joy, that actually makes you live longer. So do that a few times a day, and just makes your energy level goes up high. You feel better, and happiness, again, it's an outlook. It's an outlook of how you perceive yourself and how you perceive the world. Um, Anytime I kind of feel drained, or if I'm taking someone else's energy, or someone upsets me because of being called something or whatever. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's gonna bother you, because you're like, why would anybody say such things, or why would anybody, even if they're not, um, if you don't know them well or whatever, for 2 minutes, obviously, energy is energy. It's kind of like a substance. Coffee, for example. When it's cold outside and you have a hot, warm cup of coffee or a hot, warm cup of tea, it's going to physically bring you warmth. It's going to make you feel better, because it's a substance. It's got energy in it, and it's a substance, and that's what it does. Calling someone a bad name is kind of like the same thing too, in terms of it's the opposite. It's going to make you feel sad for a few minutes, because it's energy, it's negativity. So I smile at strangers all the time, and you don't even have to say hi or anything. Like, if you're on the bus, or if you're walking and you smile at someone, or someone smiles at you, does it not make you feel better? Does it not lift your day? Does it not make your day start off great? Yes, it does. It's contagious, and that's what energy is like, and that's what happiness is like. Um, Anything you create becomes real. Anything that you can feel becomes real, and anything that you associate yourself with becomes real. So happiness is real. True happiness lies within you, and accomplishment, success lies within you. And those who are happy, and those who can find fulfillment within themselves, are successful. Money doesn't bring you success. Fulfillment, spirituality, and the ability to forgive Let go and continue your life purpose and continue your life path regardless of the outcome, regardless of what's around you, regardless of anything at all. That is what makes you successful. So, good luck to you, sweetie. And thank you again for contacting me, as I am someone who's always lived by that truth that happiness is by far love and happiness and laughter and joy and music are by far the most important things in my life, either than they just go hand in hand. So, um, good luck to you, sweetie. Take care.